Welcome to the Lotus Roche Ignite Show. We are here to inspire and empower you and ignite the fire of success within you so that you can ignite and take flight in every area of your life. We are here tonight with another great show with another powerful influencer that is intended to be here just for you. Hello, and welcome to the show. This is your girl, Lotus Roche from Lotus Roche Ignite Show. As you can see, tonight I've got a phenomenal guest with me. She is a powerhouse, and she is going to share with us how to be a badass without having fear. And I know so many people around the world today, they're trying to get their businesses going. Some businesses have actually closed, or some has dwindled down so much, and people are just trying to get it together again. And a lot of times we've got to step up and step out of our comfort zone and really begin to step into areas that serve us, because a lot of times we are in areas that don't serve us. And she is going to help us learn how to serve us. So come on in, get in where you fit in. Look at the couch. You know, I've got so much room for you. I've got room all around my table for you to join me so that you can get in where you fit in. Make sure you like, share, start a watch party, and tell somebody where you're coming in from so that we know. Last night, I had a phenomenal show with Dr. Lamar Price. And of course, it was explosive. So I couldn't do anything less. I have got a wonderful movie star with me tonight. She's an author, she's a speaker, and she is an incredible change maker. So as you get ready to join the show, why don't you go ahead and grab you something tasty to drink. So tonight I've got some lemon tea and something else. Look, y'all, I got something else in my cup. It's not elderberry tonight, but I know it's a dandelion root. It's great for detoxing your body. So make sure you get something to help detox your body. And so I can't wait to talk to my guest tonight, because she and I were talking about some of the meals that I'm putting on, the programs that I'm coming on and sharing with you guys to be healthy. So she is going to help us be healthy in our mind, body, and soul, as well as we get this thing going. So very quickly, make sure you come in, and I always say this, and I mean it from the top and bottom of my heart. Note takers are money makers. And right here, I've got my pen. So get your notepad and your pen, because it's always time to win when you take notes from people who really know what they're talking about. And tonight, my guest, she knows how to help you to be your badass self without having fear. So I'm going to take a quick break. As you come on in and get in where you fit in. And when I come back, we're going to start the show with my phenomenal guest. You guessed it, Miss Annie Koshi. She is the branding ninja. So get ready, buckle up, and hold on tight, because tonight the show is going to be dynamite. I'll be right back.
I found that if you are outspoken, if you say what is truly in your heart and your mind, then you're looked upon as being someone who is a troublemaker. It's not about the academics. They're still very culturally conforming. Even those watching this film right now will find it very difficult to listen to portions of what it is that I'm saying. It's because I'm challenging them on age-old beliefs, age-old rituals, age-old customs, things that are passed on from generation to generation, old wives' tales, things that you should do or you shouldn't do because of a gender. The differences of being in that environment was more than just cultural. It was emotional, it was mental. There were so many customs that I didn't understand.
These are her customs. Fear will not overpower you. That is my guest, the powerful, the inspiring Miss Annie Koshy. Please welcome my guest, your guest, and our friend, the remarkable branding ninja, Miss Annie Koshy. Hey there.
Hi there, Lotus. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
How are you? I am happy to have you. You are amazing. And I got to tell you, I was moving everything over, and I just wanted everybody to really see that video because it's so empowering. It's so inspiring. And I like that you said that people really don't have to be fearful to be who they are, to just show up. And so, Annie, for those of you that don't know Annie, she's an author, she's a speaker, she's an actress, she's a filmmaker, she's a photographer, she is a media consultant, and I say she's a change maker. And she's also the author of How to Be Your Badass Self Without Fear. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. How to be your badass self without fear. So come on in and get in where you fit in, because we are going to dive right into this interview with my remarkable friend, Annie Koshy. So Annie, let's dive right into this. What inspired you, first of all, to come on the show? Because you've been here before. You have so much going on. You're making movies. You're speaking all over the world. You're getting all kind of honors and everything. But you made the time to come back on the show to help people be their badass self. So talk to us.
Well, I think there's one thing that's very important, and I don't want to be a one-time wonder. You know, I show up one time and then that's it. I don't have any other tricks up my sleeve. I have nothing to offer. I have, you know, I'm done. I'm boring. You can't be like that. At that point, if you say that you are someone who is a leader, who's a coach, who is a trainer, who has stuff that you want to share with the world, you better have your stories. You better know what it is that you want to say, and you better be able to share that. And a person's depth of personality really comes about in their stories and how they're able to relate those stories to every other person and make it interesting for them, make it resonate with them, and make it apply to them or make it applicable to something that's going on with them. And that's the most important.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. See, I told you, just fire already out the box. She is fire. So as we go, I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I'm going to be asking you to put them 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s in there, because she's going to give us some wonderful nuggets. So thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this, because you are known as the branding ninja. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got the name, the branding ninja?
I love the sound effects. Well, thank you. I didn't realize that I was first sort of anointed the ninja just because I wear so many different hats and I wear it, seemingly seamlessly. Who is a ninja? Really, if you look at a ninja in Japan, they were mercenaries. Right. They used stealth. They moved quietly and stealthily, and they took care of the enemy. They were like a warrior, but without the samurai sort of nobility, right? Ninjas were generally peasants. They were very resourceful, and right. These were certain characteristics that I found I had. That I'm not very quiet, but I do my things behind the scenes quite a bit, and I very quickly move into places and do things without people really knowing, oh, she was doing this. That was one thing. but I'm also very resourceful. That was another thing. I'm also able to do a lot of different tasks effortlessly, very well, or seemingly effortlessly. Ninjas honed their skills so well that they were able to, they would sit for hours in meditation to make sure that they had the focus of their mind to be able to hear a pin drop in the next room on a wooden floor. And their ears were that accurate. So for myself, for someone who didn't have a clue about branding, who didn't have a clue about how to build up a brand name, and to go from someone who had just launched their business, having no background in that, to being awarded left, right, and center for on multiple platforms for multiple works speaks volumes. And the name Ninja came about, and then as the book came out, I was given an award from my publisher, and it was the Branding Ninja. And I received the Branding Ninja Award. And now, clubbed with that, clubbed with my film, and clubbed with all the marketing that's going on around it, I really am the Branding Ninja. So.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you said a couple of things that really stood out. You talked about stealth, you talked about being resourceful, but you also talked about the fact that you work behind the scenes. And that is huge, because a lot of times with people such as yourself that has so many resources, you have so many talents, and you have so many skills. Oftentimes people want to be so much in the front of everything, but you're so amazing, but you still don't mind saying, hey, you know what? I don't have to be up front. I'm going to sit back here and I'm going to make things happen.
Yeah, there's a strength to being able to do both sides of the coin, I would say, being in front of the camera and at the same time being able to help companies, help individuals strategize, being able to be a team player on a larger team, being able to pull my share of the weight so that the rest of the team is benefiting. I think that for me is one of my favorite aspects of my work that I do, is being a team player. And I actually get a high when I see everyone on the team winning. And I think that for me is a fundamental reason why I do not like to work in a box on my own. I function much better when I am in a team, especially when I have people that are focused on the ultimate goal or the purpose of what it is that we are doing to be aligned. And that was very, very important. I think that leads me into why branding and branding as individuals is very important. Is you need to understand very thoroughly what is your personal brand. And I'm talking really about the fact that personal branding is really the process by which you are creating that public persona so that you can market your business and you can put yourself out there. And people ask, why is this so important? Well, it really, really determines whether you want to be blah and mediocre and just blend in with the rest of the woodwork, or whether you want to really stand out from that crowd and make that impact and make your mark. And really, it's your determination to decide what is that you have that's going to help you stand out from that sea of mediocrity. And really, to understand that, the first step really is to understand what's the function of what it is that you're doing and what's the intention of what it is that you're doing. And that really starts with understanding who you are as a person, and really thoroughly going through and understanding, why do you wake up every day and go to work? And what's the purpose of that itself? Specifically, what differentiates what you're doing from your competition, for example. And if you don't have the answers for that, then you really need to sit back and look at your branding again. The concepts really focus on your, beyond just the product that you're selling or the product that you have. What's the purpose of it, and how are you enhancing, and how are you doing that differently from your competitors?
Right. That's awesome. And a lot of people, they get caught up in the self-ego. the self-ego. But you've been spotlighted all over the place, and you know, there's not a whole lot of ego that goes on here. You've been in different interviews with people all over the world, and you've shared some of yourself, and you shared your story all over the world. And something that I noticed about you when you start sharing with people, you come from such an authentic place, and you don't mind just saying, hey, I'm just bringing my gifts. And so I really wanted to highlight this video because in this one, you talked about that, you know, it's one thing as a person that was photographed often, and then you talked a little bit more. So I want to share just a bit of this.
It was an opportunity for me to put something that I was born with to good use, and I wanted to be associated with a company that I felt was professional, at the same time very family and personable. Each of the staff here at Carolyn's has been very approachable, and the ease of being able to receive the information and then act upon it when you send us for our auditions or when you send us information, that was all very important.
So I just want to stop right there. And I heard you say a couple of things in this particular interview. I heard you talk about the fact that you wanted to use what you were born with. Okay. So when you say what you were born with, tell the folks what you mean by that, because I already know, but I want you to tell the folks what you mean by that.
Well, Lotus, I believe that we all are gifted something, some talent, some ability. And, you know, often what we do is we put aside that ability to do what we've been trained to do, which
Yes.
may not really be what is our actual passion or what we have a capability of doing.
Right.
A lot of times we tend to do what we like to do as our hobby, and we tend to do what we have to do as our work.
Right.
And what I have done instead is I'm actually doing what my hobby is as my work, and I'm really playing through all I do. So I don't find myself, tired and exhausted. I have long, long days. You can't gain success, really consistent success over a long period of time and sustain that if you aren't working at it. It does not come easy. Every single person that you are seeing successful at the top has really worked their behind off to get to that spot. And so it takes consistent, authentic, determination, focus, and purpose to get to where it is that you truly want to get to. What I'm reaping in right now is decades of work. It didn't start just last year. It didn't start 2 years ago. It started probably when I was 15 or 16 years old, when I had this dream to take my voice and use my talents. And my message now, it hit me when I was 46, that my life has actually come to the point where I had lived more life than I had left remaining. And it was a rude awakening. And it was at that point that I really realized that I didn't want to continue in the same realm and same path and the same journey that I was on, and that I was really ready for a change. To make change is very difficult. Change means you have to become uncomfortable. And I really feel that real growth, true growth, becomes or happens when you get out of your comfort zone and stretch. And that stretching is painful. The stretching actually means that you have to grow your mind or open your heart or get rid of something that's not growing you in some way or another. And change is painful. But only when you do change, and only when you actually decide you purposely want to make a change, do you actually grow. So comfortable is actually stagnation. And if you're stagnating, you're actually going backwards in time.
So let me ask you this, because this afternoon I talked about leaders, and I talked about this book, Who Moved My Cheese. And you talked about a lot of things that is in this book. You talked about stagnation. You talked about getting uncomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone so that you can get really more comfortable than you've probably ever been before, because you're operating outside of what you've come accustomed to as a comfort zone. And this is what you talked about, moving away from things that don't serve us. That's powerful. So but let me ask you this. It's two questions. First thing is, what made you get out of your comfort zone to step into the uncomfortability of being successful? Because let's face it, you're successful on multi levels.
Well, I think that when I started to lose sight of who I was, that was when the moment came. As I said, I was very talented. The first time I was on stage was when I was 3 years old. By the time I was 15, I was leading a choir, and I was always recognized for my voice, and I was always hosting various shows and that sort of thing from a very young age. Early teens, I would say. I was always asked to either close a show or open a show or MC something. And that was recognized. I was also very creative and musical. So I had those abilities, but it wasn't something that could be translated into a career. And so I went the traditional way, and I went to school and university, and I did a traditional job. I became a teacher. And yes, I was passionate about teaching. I usually put my heart and soul into everything I do. So there is no mediocre, there's no blah, maybe you get Annie half passionate. No, Annie's either in all the way or I'm not in it. And so I think all of us have these talents as kids, and we think that's, it's just a talent, or it's a hobby, or it's something that you do on the weekend. But you really have the opportunity with your life to be able to take that and see if you can make a career out of it. See if you can actually learn it to the point where you're so good and brilliant at it, and then you can teach someone about it, or you can be a change maker in that field, or you can be an innovator in that field. There's so many opportunities that are available to young people today that we didn't have growing up. I come from a community in which there were 5, maybe 6 occupations that were okay. Our parents sort of accepted it, that we could take those in, jobs. But my choice really at that time, had I been given the opportunity to go into media, I would have loved it. However, the time that I was in university, or time that I was, interested in that, there weren't that many colored women in the line of media, especially from my community, and no one really in mainstream media. So the diversity that we have today, the opportunities that we have today, were non-existent then. Yes. But that hasn't made a difference. My media career and my work with branding has come after I've held so many different hats. And I'm telling you, really, Lotus, all of those experiences have helped to shape who I am today. I don't regret any of those experiences, because they've all added different facets to my personality that have shined up, that are brilliant right now, and that are really drawing in all of the other skills that I'm able to focus on right now. That's been the benefit.
So let me ask you this, because you touched on a couple of things that really stood out to me, but one that you said, and you said it more than once and in different ways, you talked about brilliance. And what I heard you say in my mind was, be brilliant at what you choose to do.
Yes.
So how can one be brilliant at what they choose to do as a woman of color? Because I heard you allude to that's the first question. And then the second question, and we're going to save this question for when we come back, but I'm going to ask it now because I want our audience to think about this. If you choose to be brilliant, and Annie, you basically said be brilliant at what you choose to do. What if your brilliance is not a choice? Because many people come from families where you have to be a doctor, or you have to be a lawyer, or you have to be a baker, or you have to be a barber. And their brilliance is not the brilliance that they choose. It's the brilliance that they're told that they're going to go into. They get voluntold. So that's our second question. I'm coming back and I'm going to ask you that. So folks out there, I want you guys to answer that question too. But this question, you know, being brilliant at what you choose to do. How do people do that, especially women of color, when we're not often given the opportunity to do so?
All right. So the first question that you have is, how do you choose to be doing what you are brilliant at?
Yes.
It's not a choice. You have to do it. You're on this earth. You're on this earth, and you have a life to live. It doesn't matter whether you were born of parents, that you have a partner, you have a spouse, you have children. You have a particular calling. You are a gift on this earth. And it would be really, really horrible if you were not doing what you were truly called to do. Find that little person inside of you. Find that little boy, find that little girl, and listen to your soul, listen to your heart, listen to what it is that you truly want to do, and follow that. Don't give up on your passions. Don't give up on what it is that you have to do. No one has a right to take those dreams away from you. You've got to be able to pour into yourself before you can expect anyone to pour into you. And so if you don't put yourself and you don't respect yourself and what your heart's really wanting to do, how can you expect anyone else to respect you? As a woman of color, stand firm. I don't see color. I grew up in Canada. And for me, I see people as equal. You respect me, I respect you. You know, if you have a different opinion than me, that's fine. I respect you for what you have to do. I respect your, that you have a differing opinion, but I can go my way and you can go your way as well. I think that that's the most important thing, is respect people, be kind to people, be thoughtful, and listen. Listen to what it is that they're saying. And it's not necessary that you agree with every single thing that every single person says, whether it be your friends, whether it be your family, but there's a respectful way to be. And I think that that's the most important. Sometimes you have to just agree to disagree. As for the brilliance inside of you, the only way you are going to be able to hear that is if you get quiet and you hear and truly listen to your inner self. You truly listen to that voice. You want to call it your soul. You want to call it your, I don't know, your ego. You want to call it that, subconscious voice that you have. It's that voice that comes to you in the quietest of quiet, when you're about to sleep, when you've done something and you shouldn't have done that, and that voice comes out. Sometimes you have it, and this voice tells you, hold back. That those things that hold you back, those come from not your real true passion. It comes from fear. And when you're able to actually approach things and recognize that what's holding you back is not your ability to do things, because ability is just something you can actually hone on. Ability, it's a skill. What's holding you back is the fear of doing things. And sometimes what we fear the most is that we know how we're going to be feeling in something, and therefore we're going to be afraid. It's like, listen to this. I went through a really emotional time when I left my marriage, and I knew that there was a part of me in my heart that really hurt. And imagine this, that you have dental surgery, you had your molars taken out. You know that your molars are at the back of your mouth, and you know that you have stitches there. And everything's going on fine, and then one day your tongue just wanders back and it touches that spot, and ouch, yeah, you get that hurt, right? You know there's a hurt there. You know that something's bothering you there, and you know you're going to get pain there. And so you know that if you put your tongue near there, you're going to hurt. And we're like that with ourselves too. We go through situations, we go through times in life, we go through pain, and we remember that pain, we remember that hurt, and we're afraid, we're fearful, because if we do that, we might get hurt and we might feel that like that again. And so do we really want to go down that path? That's not really about our ability or the opportunities. It's about what's holding us back. And the number one person that's holding us back the most is ourselves. It's not other people. It's
Yep.
nothing to do with anyone else. It's to do with yourself. And when you realize that, all the other voices start to settle down. And when you stay focused with what it is that you truly want to do, and you stay on track with that, everyone else starts to see your passion and start to see what it is that you want to do, and they will be on board with you. But if you are wishy-washy, if you are wavering, if you do not know what it is that you want to truly do, and you're like, then you're going to have all these other voices, all these other people, all these other opportunities come and take you away from that purpose.
Wow. That's powerful. And we've got some folks chiming in already. And somebody said we fear of rejection. So people fear rejection. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about fear of rejection. First, we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about fear. We're going to talk about fear of rejection. Why do people feel so afraid of being rejected? Because after all, we know that sometimes when one person rejects us, it's opening the door for other people to accept us. And the fabulous Camille Robb is with us tonight. We're happy to see you. Of course, we have Angela Elding all the way from Washington, D.C. She said, yeah, for Annie, vote for Annie, vote for Annie. So folks, yes, vote for Annie. And we'll tell you about that when we come back. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we are going to talk about fear, how to overcome your fears. Because after all, tonight we're talking about how to be your badass self without fear. And guess what? You came to the right place at the right time to talk about this thing that we call fear. Because let's face it, none of us want to have fear. And if you don't want to have fear, stay right here. We'll be right back. If you're an entrepreneur and you are ready to live the dream in 2021, well, come on and get on board with the visibility strategist herself, the CEO of Unity in Service, where people need people, the phenomenal Patricia Rogers, as she presents Entrepreneurs Living the Dream 2021. It's an online event that you don't want to miss. There will be several opportunities for public speakers, public TEDx speakers. You heard it right. Public TEDx speakers. Starting on February 25th, 2021, June 24th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, April 22nd, 2021, and August 26th, 2021. You don't want to miss this. Get at her at info@patriciarogers.com, info@patriciarogers.com, where Unity in Service, where people need people.
As young children, we are invincible. We think that we can do anything we want in the world. Life and everything is a possibility. And every single one of our dreams will become true. We can be that princess or the Superman or a firefighter, whatever it is. We have imagination and we have the ability to think that we can conquer the world. But as we grow up, each disappointment, each pain that we experience, each thing that doesn't go our way, in which we've become hurt, causes us to shrivel up a little bit inside. Now, it could be that other people tell us what to do and we're forced to listen to them. But if you keep doing that, then you proceed to die a little bit inside each time. And you lose that voice, that innocence, that desire to dream. Looking at my life, I see that there's a long way to go for success. I still see hills and valleys, twists and turns. I've had a lot of challenges, and I've had to make a lot of difficult decisions along the way. I've stood at difficult crossroads that have defined my future life. I needed to sacrifice things that I truly loved to achieve something bigger. I had to find the courage within myself. This is my real story. This is not just the tip of the iceberg. This is the whole me. My losses and pains, my despair and defeat. It's not easy to tell, but this is the life millions of other women live every day.
Wow. Be like Annie and conquer your fears. And tonight we are here, and our guest is the phenomenal Miss Annie Koshi, better known as the Branding Ninja. If you don't know, now you know. She is the Branding Ninja. And many of you are coming in, and I double dog dare you, I double dog challenge dare you to like, share, and start a watch party and run and tell somebody that I've got the remarkable Annie Koshi, the Branding Ninja here. She's a speaker, she's an author, she's a filmmaker, she's a photographer, she's a media consultant, she's a super duper star, and she's a change maker. And she's here tonight helping me help you decide and just go after your dreams and teach you how to be your badass self without fear. And so, Annie, we're going to jump right to some of our comments because we've got folks coming in and with their comments. We don't want to miss our audience. So Charlene Sparks says, great information. Be brilliant at what you choose to do. Good point. It just takes a little more time for us women of color to get to this level. So we're going to stop right there, and then I'm going to read the rest of that. What are your thoughts about that? Because we said we were going to talk about fear, but she made a powerful point. It takes some of us time to get there. What are your thoughts about that?
You know what? I'm a woman of color myself, and I say, oh, pooey that. And this is why. This is why. When you give the opportunity to say that's the problem, that's going to be the problem. That's not a problem for me. I don't allow that to be a problem for me. I'm a woman of color. So what? Just because the color on the outside is brown doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the inside. And so if you say that that's the stick by which you're going to beat me, or that's a stick by which you're going to gauge me, or that's going to be the measure of me, I think that's rubbish. I refuse to let that happen today. In today's age, I refuse to let the outside of what I am determine how I'm viewed by someone else, of whatever race, of whatever color. It doesn't matter. We're all different colors in a Crayola pack, you know, and I'm just happen to be cafe au lait. So,
and let me also read further. She says, she said it. Fear holds us back. It takes the power of God to get through the fear. And might I add, not only the power of God, because you got to call on God to ask him to give you the strength, to give you the wisdom, the knowledge to call on God to do it. But this is the thing, Annie. A lot of people call on God for different things. In the Bible, for those that are Bible believers, and they share that the Bible says that we have not because we ask not.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people don't ask.
Well, I want to say something first before all of that. Whether it is whichever religion anyone comes from, we all have, you have to have some sort of spiritual guide. Yes. That I think is paramount. I grew up Christian, but I have to say that I'm not a overtly religious person. I'm more spiritual. And what do I mean by that? You know, honestly, whichever great person is up there, and eventually if you decide you're going up or you're going to go down or you're going to stay in this realm, whatever it is that your heart makes you happy with, fine. In my heart, I feel I'm going up. And so he's standing there, or whichever body is standing there, and they're not going to be saying, are you from here? Are you this type of religion? Are you that type of religion? Are you? They're probably just going to be looking at, were you good to the people and the things and the creatures and the place that I gifted you for your lifetime to take care of? Were you good there? And if the answer to that is no, you may not find yourself where you expect to be, right? I think that that is the number one thing. You know, a lot of people call upon whichever spiritual guide or spiritual strength they have in times of need. And I'm telling you, it's not in times of need that you need to be saying that. It's when everything is going hunky-dory. That's when you need to invoke. That's when you need to say. That's when you need to affirm. That's when you need to have a heart full of gratitude. And really, if you wake up every morning with that heart full of gratitude for the smallest, minutest little thing that you have, when the big things come, you're going to be astonished. It's the small things, Lotus, that make true character. It's not the big limelight moments. You know, why is there humbleness? Because I can remember when I didn't have anything. Why is there an opportunity that I give to people? Why do I say the voiced for the voiceless? Because there was a time when I wanted to have my voice heard, and I didn't have the method or the means or the individuals around me that were able to open those doors for me. And so now I spend the time opening those doors. So, you know, some people call upon, you know, their gods and on religion and on, you know, doing special, you know, certain rituals or whatnot, just when they want something.
Exactly.
And don't do work like that. Don't do work with anyone. Don't do work with God like that. That when you need something, that's when you approach. When you want something, that's when you pour into people, pour into your business, pour into others without that desire to think, how am I going to get something from this? What am I going to gain from this? What's in it for me? You know, when you start doing that, you're going to be blessed beyond belief.
Amen. Beyond belief. So I want to jump back into Charlene. And yeah, Charlene, thank you for sending this comment in, because you got so many great little nuggets in here. So she said, yes, it's ourselves holding us back. Powerful. So have you, Annie, ever been in a situation where you found yourself holding yourself back when everybody behind you, all systems were saying go, but you were pumping the brakes saying no, 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 but all systems were go?
No, actually, I found myself holding myself back so that I felt like I would fit in. And it's very powerful. I had a graphic that I had put out this morning, and it was a garlic. And in the garlic, you had a clove of a tangerine. And so you had one little piece of tangerine, and it was stuck into the garlic. And the garlic and the tangerine, if you look at it, are very similar in shape. But a clove of garlic and a clove of tangerine are different. And just because a tangerine slice fit into the garlic clove doesn't necessarily mean that that tangerine slice was home there or was meant to be there. And so I had the issue for me, and why I was holding back was because I felt that I had to fit into where I was. I had to fit into what other people's agenda was. I had to fit into a box that was given to me that did not fit me. And so I was dumbing down my personality. I was dimming my light. I was refusing to, you know, I found it very hard to look people and show them the power that I have, because I felt that they would not accept me as I was. And so I held myself back in that way. I knew I have been powerful for a long, long time. I have a great deal of creative energy within me. I've known this for a long time, but I was holding back because I felt that if I unleash this energy that I have in me, if I unleash the actual true, oh my gosh, the authentic Annie, then they're not going to like me. And I have felt like I had to fit in. I felt like I had to follow everyone else's lines until one fine day, I didn't see me anymore, Lotus. And that was the rude awakening. When I couldn't find me, I didn't recognize me, and I had stopped talking really a lot, and I had stopped expressing myself, because if I expressed myself, and God forbid that I had an opinion that was not acceptable, then wow, I was just put down and put back into that box and said, go back there and sit there. You're not supposed to have that opinion, you know?
Wow. And so let me ask our viewers, if you have held yourself back in the past and you are ready, you're really ready to be your badass self, go ahead and put a number 5 in the comment block below. If you've held yourself back before, but you're ready to break free and be your authentic badass without fear, put a number 5 in the comment block. put a number 5 in the comment block. And we've got a couple more comments. I want to go ahead and take them. Again, thank you, Charlene, for that. Those words are just amazing. And Terrence, Mr. Unstoppable himself, he says, hey, ladies, it is an unstoppable day. Fight the fear and do it anyway. That's right. Fight the fear and do it anyway. Because I know, Annie, for myself, I've had times where I had to fight my fear. I was scared as heck, but I decided, you know what? It's either now or never. So I had to go ahead. And Terrence said, go, y'all go ahead with y'all badass selves. Thank you. And then Angie says, go, Annie. Cafe au latte, LOL.
Cafe au lait. I think you should stick to the Spanish or the Japanese.
Charlene has another comment. Go ahead and read that one out for us, please.
Yes, I'm glad you stated that. Our words matter.
Yes, they do. And Terrence says, be grateful in the small things as they will open up doors in the bigger things. And that is so true. And now, Annie, this is what you were saying, and I love that you said it. And thank you, Terrence, for your comments and putting this in also. You know, we have to serve without expectation. A lot of people are serving with the concept of what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And some people are serving or they've stopped themselves because of rejection. Like Angela talked about earlier, people are afraid of rejection. But I ask folks, if you are ready to stop holding yourself back, and if you've held yourself back before, but now you're ready to move forward and break free of fear so you can be your badass self, put a 5 in the comment block below. And we already have folks. Ruth Cates out of Hawaii. It's great to see you, Ruth. Good to see you. And yeah, folks, let us know where you're coming in from. We definitely want to know where you're coming in from. And of course, Charlene said, holding back, unleashing my energy. Wow, I have been there. 5. She put a 5. And Angie said, I'm already a badass. So that's great. So if you're a badass, go ahead and put in the comment block below badass, because I'm sitting here with the chief badass herself, Miss Annie Koshi. She is the branding ninja. That's right. And she has a new book out that, well, it's been out for a minute, but it's about being your badass self. And I want to come back after there we go. There's a book. We're going to talk a little bit about this book. You can find it on Amazon, and I'm going to show it to you guys so you can make sure you get it. Don't talk about it, be about it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how she was able to just be her badass self. What inspired her to write the book, first and foremost, because I know it had to take something to write the book. And then we want to talk a little bit more about the book and how you guys can get it. So having said that, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back. And then we also going to give you guys some time to show us how badass you really are by putting your money where your mouth is. We're going to ask you to do a little exercise with us and be the leaders that you say you are. Be right back.
Hey, it's Velton Shaw. You know, every day brings us new opportunities to do something great for ourselves and do something great for others. Leadership is our way of sharing our gifts with those around us to help them to be the best that they can be. I wrote this book, Leadership Dynamics, The Principles of Leadership, to give us some information, some guidance, and some tools to help us help ourselves, help others, and make the world a better place by helping the people around us. Only you can stop you, but you can help others. I'm Velton Shaw, and I look forward to your impression of the book, Leadership Dynamics, The Principles of Leadership. Take care.
All right, fantastic. So, Annie, I want to know about the book. People want to know about the book. People are saying that they are badasses. And the fabulous Camille Robb said, so true. Some people are just like that. It's all about them. That's when we were talking about do things without expecting a return on the things that you're doing, because sometimes you're not going to get it. So fear, face everything and rise. I love that. You talk about that. Your film has won 18 awards. So let's talk about the book, the awards, and how in the did you face your fear and rise?
Well, the book came about, I think, when people started to approach me to help them with some of the things that I was doing about branding. And I realized that I had a lot of knowledge. I've always wanted to write a book. It was a dream that I had. My grandfather was an author himself and a journalist, and enjoyed doing that. And I really did enjoy the time that I spent with him when we had a press office in my native Kerala. And that was something that I truly enjoyed. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed it. I was always good at writing. I taught English for many years, and I was an avid English student, taking that as my minor right through university. And writing was something that I enjoyed, but I never expected to take all of that knowledge and to put it down onto paper. To have knowledge in your head is one thing, but then to take that and actually put it into cohesive order and have it make sense, have it flow, have it be valuable. That was a process that I found just amazing. It was not easy. I think the most difficult part of it was to actually get started. I didn't know what my focus was going to be because there were a lot of areas that I was good at. And so to decide that branding was going to be the focus that I had, that I wanted to really pick, that was the thing that I really, it took me some time. It took me some time to really figure out that that was what I was going to focus on. Once that happened, the process of writing began. It was painful initially because I wasn't used to just letting my thoughts just flow, and that's what you really have to do. You don't have to structure it in such a way that it has to be a certain way. You just let it flow. And I needed to follow a certain format, I felt, and it was that. Once the process began and I got into like my chapter 2 and chapter 3, the process became much, much easier. And before I realized it, I had my 10 chapters written. The editing process was probably the most difficult, and the difficulty being that you have to really massage and manipulate and hone the words that you want to use to truly articulate your thoughts and truly hit home the messaging that you want to have hit home. And so that was essential. That was a really crucial part of it. And the patience that you require. I think the other aspect that was very important in the writing of my book is that I wanted to have stories. I wanted each of the chapters to begin with a story. And I think that that was one of the most important parts. It was my authentic voice. It was a revelation of who I really was. And it was a revelation of my own style, my personality, how I was able to build my brand. If I didn't have the experiences that I share throughout the book, then you wouldn't be able to trust my journey. I would just be someone who had book knowledge, but this is not really book knowledge. This was practical knowledge. Right. And the practicality of it was what has made the book so appealing.
So let me say this. First and foremost, folks, go ahead and get Annie's book. You can get her book on Amazon. It's very affordable, and especially for entrepreneurs out there, you're trying to figure out your brand. You don't know what your brand looks like. You don't know what your brand feels like. Her book will help take you through what she calls the journey. And Annie, in your book, you share a little bit about that. And I'm going to read it right here, folks. You share a little bit about that and what it is. And I like how you did that because a lot of people feel alone on the journey. But here you were very transparent and you shared a bit of your heart. And so you said the journey you will be on will be personal and unique, requiring action. So you're giving people an idea that, hey, you can't sit on your ducats and do nothing if you want this thing to really come to fruition when it comes to your personal brand. Okay. You share why it's important. And then you said, what I have done and accomplished is based on my own unique journey and the actions I was willing to take to achieve any personal and professional vision. That's powerful because you said what you were willing to do to achieve it. Your personal journey, your professional vision. And I like this. You gave them encouragement. You give the world encouragement. You can do the same by beginning to apply some of the tips and tricks shared here. This is how I took my own brand from non-existent to a household name. And so that's a call to action, folks. If you really want to get your brand going, if you really want to learn how to do it, there's the book right there. There's the book. You don't have to ask any questions about, oh, you know, how long did it take you to write the book and all that? Who cares? The proof is in the pudding. Go right there to that link and grab her book. It's on Amazon. It's very affordable. And it's a book that you really want to have in your arsenal. If you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to figure out your brand, you don't know what your brand is, or wait, what if you do know what your brand is, but you might want to move it to the next level? Get the book. Get the book. It's only $9.99 on Kindle, and it's $24.99 on paperback. Very, very reasonable. So grab your book today. So Annie, you set out on a journey to get the book. You rose above the odds of being a woman first and foremost, and then being a woman of color. You rose above what so many people bow down to, and that's fear. You've been on multiple shows. You have a movie that was recently released in October. And I mean, just the sky's the limit. You're up for another award. You're in the run-ins right now for another award. And I want you to talk to the folks about that as they begin to go and grab that book. And so tell us about this award.
Well, the award, just to touch upon what you said about the journey, I think it's very important that you have your own small attainable goals. Those goals become the path of your journey. And, you know, these attainable goals that I had were really in alignment with what my goal, my ultimate goal was, my beliefs, you know, but it's like, if you decide that you want to get fit and you have this picture of this amazing, you know, guy or girl, whoever it is that you identify with, in front of that mirror, you know, totally buff, totally built, totally, you know, abs and all. And you look at yourself and you've been sitting on the couch for the last year because it's been COVID. You know, you can't go to the gym. And so you've got COVID weight on. And then you're looking at that and you're going, oh, you know what? I want to do that. But, and the next day you wake up and you go, but I'll do it the next day. I'm going to start tomorrow.
COVID weight. If you done picked up some COVID weight, put a 6 in the comment block.
We all got COVID weight.
I'm gonna put my 6 in.
Between COVID weight and any other types of weight, it's just, you call it any weight you want to call it. I call it handholds, right? But you look at it like this, is that if you put that ideal thing in front of you and say, that's what I want to get, and you're at a very, very beginning state, you're going to find yourself actually shooting yourself in the leg. You're going to be finding yourself really discouraged. You're going to find yourself unmotivated. And that's because the goal that you have there, as ideal as that is, it is an ideal goal, and you may not get there by tomorrow. So instead of that is to put a goal that's actually achievable for the end of the week. So perhaps it is that you want to go, you know, for a 10-minute jog, or you want to go for that 10 or 15-minute or half an hour walk, to start with that and backward plan that. So if by Sunday you want to do a 1 kilometer walk, then make sure that by halfway through the week, you can do half a kilometer. And so how do you get to that half kilometer? Break it down even further so that, you know, 2 days into the week, you're actually aiming for this. Those are attainable goals. Before you realize it, you've done 2 weeks, or you've done maybe 5 kilometers in 3 weeks. By the time, and by the end of the month, you've already ramped it up so that you're doing maybe 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers, more than what you were doing before. But if you said to yourself, by next month, I'm going to be walking 10 kilometers and I'm going to be doing it in this amount of time, you may not get there because that 10-kilometer goal is really, really hefty for you at this moment if you've not been doing anything. And that goes and applies for everything you do in life, whether it is that you want to lose weight, whether it is you want to get somewhere in life, whether you want to enter a job and, you know, you walk into that job and you go, I'm going to sit in that CEO office one day. If you say that and you sit there and you're going to, you know, you're starting at an entry-level job and you sit there dreaming about that, that dream is not going to happen. You got to put actions to make that dream happen. The actions come from your everyday small little steps that you do that's going to get you to that dream.
Wow. Put actions behind what you say, folks. Because if you don't put your actions behind what you say, you're not going to get anywhere fast. That's what I'm hearing you say. You know, a lot of people say put your money where your mouth is, but that also means put your actions behind what you say. Don't talk about it, be about it. So I'm going to invite you to like, share, and start a watch party because wow, this hour has flown by. It's actually 1 minute to the top of the hour. So folks, I hope that you have taken notes. If you don't know how to be your badass self without fear, hit the replay. And also, make sure you let me know, private message me, and I'll bring her back to the show because she has a wealth of knowledge to give. I want to show some footage of her when she was singing, some of her acting, and all of those things. And an hour just, I mean, it just flows by when you're having fun. So, folks, grab the book. Make sure you grab the book. Go right there to Amazon. You will be happy you did. Like I said, it's very reasonably priced. It's a book that's going to help you really increase your awareness about your brand. Isn't it funny that we know more about other people's brands than we know about our own? We still know, and some people aren't even on the planet, and we know more about their brand than we know about our brand. We know more about the Nike brand than we know about our own brand. And so this book is going to help you really get straight and understand about your brand, some of the do's and don'ts, and some of the things that you wish you had never done, but that you don't ever have to do again. So grab the book. There's the link below. You'll be happy you did. So look, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back and we're going to share with you some of our final words of wisdom as we say la vie to you, and hope you have learned a little bit about how to be your badass self. So we're going to take a break. I see some folks chiming in already, but we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to go from there. Okay, so hold on tight. Don't go nowhere. Hold on tight. We'll be right back. It's your time to upscale your business and everything you do. Grab your virtual assistant. Get the help you need with social media, graphic design, and your social marketing, media, your video creation, and much, much more. You're at the right place at the right time. None of those restricted nights. And you can Zoom training and StreamYard training and elevate your business and be your badass without fear. All right, and we are back, folks. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, go ahead and grab your book. Go to Amazon today. Go right now. Go right now. Don't wait. And we've got a comment from Charlene. So what's Charlene saying?
Well, she says, action behind your words. Annie, you were awesome. Enjoyed. Well, thank you, Charlene, very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, commenting throughout, it's really important, I think, that everyone has their voice and is comfortable to speak their voice, but that's not what it all is always about, and that's not what always happens. And so individuals like Lotus, like myself, and other people who give platforms for individuals to be able to share what it is that they do, share their accomplishments, share their passions with the world. I applaud the work that they do, because that's the heart.
Yes.
There are a lot of good people around, and a lot of people who are super, super talented. And it's so important that there are opportunities offered to them to be able to share their talents. And I think that if we're able to grow kindness, if we're able to grow a positive attitude to things, then we are generating so much positive energy around us. And I think that that is what we really need to do to heal this world.
Wow. And I hope that was meant for her, because we still want your final words of wisdom. We're not letting you out that easy. We got your book scrolling down the bottom so people can get your book until the broadcast is over. And so we're gonna ask Miss Annie Koshy, the remarkable branding ninja, for her final words of wisdom for this broadcast. Annie.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the film. And the film was the most scariest thing I had ever done in my life. We often, if you have a problem and you have a problem in your personal life, or you have a problem with your business, or if you have a problem with someone, you don't want the world to know. So I could have gone two ways, and I could have kept quiet about it. And I could have just, been like any other woman and gone through a divorce and allowed the situation of what I went through, just be quiet. But I decided that I actually wanted to be an example of inspiration. I wanted to be an example in which the same type of situation, the same type of similar fears that I had, that I wasn't good enough, that I was too much of something, or I was too much, whatever the lacks were at that point, that I didn't want that to be the voice or the messaging that all other young girls or all other women or all other men heard for themselves. And so I wanted to use my film as a tool to educate that really you need to have a definiteness of purpose. You need to have a focus, and you need to go for that. And really the only person that's really holding you back is yourself, that you truly need to believe in and pour into yourself so that other people can pour into you. And that it took me a long time. It took me over 4.5 decades before I really saw that little girl, and I acknowledged that little girl who had been in the corner and been pleading to me from that little corner where I had relegated her to, because all the other voices in my head around me that were that I had to listen to were more loud and clamoring for attention. When I finally paid attention to that little girl and what that little girl wanted, she really brought out the best in me. I have to say that what you're seeing right now is the latest version, the latest model, the fancy dancy souped up version of Annie. And this is, the latest updated version of me, and I think I update myself every hour, every moment, every minute. I will constantly be learning. I will constantly be growing my mind so that I can be that better person. I can continue to be that badass person. It's about just being on point, focused, determined, and with a growth mentality, and not just growth for myself, but I like to bring everyone I have around me along with me.
I'm not letting you off right now. Because you said some things that I like. You said on point, focused, and determined. So I had to keep you up there so people understand what a badass version of themselves can be, because you're that. And the way you got there, and the way you stay there, and the way you're going to move forward is to keep being on point, focused, and determined. Wow, it's so powerful. So, folks, my final words of
I think that Lotus got kicked out of the broadcast. So I guess I will.
No, I didn't. I was still talking. I was telling people that my last words of the comments were going to be, you got to be on point, focused, and determined. I can't give you no much better wisdom than that right there for now, because the badass herself that is teaching the world how to be your badass self without fear has spoken. And with that being said, we love you. We appreciate all that you're doing for us, our broadcast, and everything else that we do. So until we meet again, have a great evening, have a great day, have a great life, and don't forget to be your badass self without fear. Good night. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you so much, Lotus. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. See you, folks. Be your badass self.